All right, what will be our first mission here?
Getting the live to show up on my end.
Oh, it's not showing yet?
Live yet.
Okay, it did just show on my end.
Okay, here it is.
Hello, Sully.
All right, here we are. Okay. Do you typically wait for a few minutes for people to trickle in before we get into the meat and potatoes?
No, I just start working, and if people show up, then they're there.
So, yeah, so this is like, first of all, thank you for having me on. It's an honor. I saw that you were featured on Gamers Nexus yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
So, congratulations. Yeah, so with F3D-EX3, there were two goals. Increase features, like add new graphical features that were not before possible on N64, and reduce RDP time. And I think I was relatively successful at those two. And the cost is that our SP time goes up. And we can talk about exactly why I didn't see that being a problem for a couple of reasons, but it is what it is, and so I want to do a little bit of experimenting today to see if the problem is what I think it is, which is simply that all of the extra stuff and all the architectural changes I made to F3D-EX3 make the RSP go slower, which they do, but then because you've made the RDP go so much faster, that now this is a bottleneck in your case. So if that's the case, then we can talk about what's next. I have some ideas about how to make a microcode that would suit your needs, and yeah, we can go there. So what do you think about that?
That sounds very good. Hopefully, I mean, the RDP time was so much lower, and then we also have the higher vertex buffer, the count plane. I expect anything between like 5 to 15% speed up from this, hopefully, in the end.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping as well. Yeah, so the first thing I think I would like to see, but this is your stream, so feel free to suggest something different, is can you run your game with F3D-EX2 in the same spot that we've been experimenting with, except with the bug fixed so that it's showing 16 milliseconds as the RSP time instead of 8 milliseconds.
Right, that is possible. Let me just undo F3DX. God, that's gonna be annoying to do. But we can do that.
We will only have to switch back and forth once today, of going to EX2 and then going back to EX3. But this is the baseline. This is sort of one of the reasons. Yeah, I guess I'll sort of get into two of them right now. One is that, so like in OOT, if I pull up a scene that has 6,600 vertices, it's going to be taking like 40 milliseconds on the RDP, and so you don't notice if it's taking 15 or 20 or 25 milliseconds on the RSP because it doesn't change the total time. And so I have done a tiny bit of like A/B testing, but mainly I was looking at like, do RDP times go down, not do RSP times go up. And the other thing is that your profiling had previously said that you were only using 8 milliseconds of RSP time, so I was just totally not worried about it. But if it's actually 16, and we're talking about like 22 milliseconds of RDP command, that's like pretty close. There's not a lot of headroom to make the RSP go slower and make the RDP go faster. So yeah, I want to start with just like make sure we're getting good numbers as our baseline before we change things.
Yeah, that is very reasonable. Let me just figure out why it won't let me stash this. God damn it.
So yes, for the people in the chat who don't know who I am, my name is Soren. I am person making F3DEX3 custom microcode for N64, which Kaza is trying to use in Return to Yoshi's Island. I also was the director of Triforce %, which was the Ocarina of Time arbitrary code execution thing that you may have seen at GDQ a year and a half ago. I do like N64 music arranging. I've been doing modding music into Ocarina of Time for like almost 10 years now, and I used to build synthesizers. I have some of them on my YouTube channel also.
Yeah, and he also made the SAC64, the program we use for
all
that stuff.
I forgot about that one. Yeah, so SEQ64 is the N64 like for the first party games, the music sequence format. And this is the program to like import and export using that format.
Dude, the hell? Okay, there we go. Finally. Let me just make sure it boots up fine on Project 64, and if it does, I'll put it on the N64 with all the fixed compilers, the fixed profilers.
Do I see Project 64 1.6 on your screen, Kaza?
Yes! I'm still using it. It's just so convenient to use. Parallel still doesn't work for me. I just can't use it.
Which flash card are you using also?
The EverDrive X5, I think. Oh, they tell me I need to turn you up. Is this better? Can you say something?
Hi, everyone. I can adjust the audio levels in my end also if you want.
Yep. I got this on here. Better? Okay.
So, are you aware of the Summer Card 64?
I've heard of it. I think I tried to get one, but I couldn't.
So, I have an extra one. If you want me to send that to you at some point.
I don't think you need to. I'm fine with this one. I fucked something up. It didn't boot. Oh, it's the GBI. Right, I need to unstage this too, and somehow just discard it. And hopefully now it works. This should just be the old F3DX 3 that you sent me like a long time ago. That's what we're gonna compare to baseline.
Can we? Oh, you're not interested in comparing to F3DEX2 because that's what I'm sort of referencing.
Well, I'm using the one that you made like a year ago or something. You remember that one?
So that. I mean, I remember it, but like F3DEX2, if some performance things are what I think they might be, then F3DEX2 is like would be even faster.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like I guess I can like take a moment, whether this is a good time or some other time, and like explain like what the architecture changes were about how like vertices are processed and lighting is done. Is this a good time for that?
Sure, you are free to do that.
Let me pull up a little whiteboard here. Yeah, so in how I didn't exactly think about how I'm going to do this. So on a the job of the RSP when it is doing vertex loading is to take vertices in model space, compute lighting, and transform them into clip space. So what you have a vertex, you need to somehow convert it to model space by multiplying by the M matrix. Sorry, you convert it to world space. Erase that. I love the music, by the way.
I might have to maximize you here so they can actually understand what you're talking about. But really quick intersection. I booted it up. Look at the GFX time, 21.7.
Okay, so That's good. So this is with old F3DX3.
Yeah, old F3DX3.
Okay. So I don't remember exactly what features I had in at that time, but if at that time I still would have had the overall like change in the architecture. So going from 21.6 to 25. With
27 even, or actually at 25.5. Yeah.
25.5 is like that's a reasonable thing. Going from 8 or 16 to those is like what could possibly be going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good to know our baseline. Can you take a screenshot of this and like save it somewhere as a reference so we can go back to it later?
Sure.
Yeah. So while we're oh yeah. Why don't you take the screenshot with all of them also?
Because this is garbage data.
oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the vertex and okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah. So in the microcode, you have to somehow take your vertex datas, which are in model space. I should really just get text out here. Model space, right? So model space. You multiply by M matrix, you get vertices in world space. Then you multiply by V matrix, you get vertices in camera space. Then you multiply by P matrix, and you get vertices in clip space. And also you need to do lighting. And along with the vertex position, there is a vertex normal, which is normal, and that's in model space. And if we're doing just directional lighting, we will have light directions, which are in world space. So the job of the microcode is to like somehow figure all of these out and some relationships between them in order to be able to do the lighting and the transformations. So the way F3DEX3 does this is actually a more straightforward way than the way F3DEX2 does this. Well, first of all, so the V matrix and the P matrix are already pre-multiplied in the CPU code in both microcodes. So there's never a separate V and P matrix. It's just one VP matrix. And this camera space is not actually a step. You just go, you can talk about world space, you can talk about clip space, and you can go directly between them with multiplying by VP. So what F3DEX3 does is you start with model space vertices. It multiplies them by the M matrix and gets world space vertices in memory as it's processing the vertices. Then it also takes the model space normals here and multiplies them by either M or M inverse transpose. And I'm not going to go into a whole linear algebra lesson of why we need M inverse transpose for that. But you can sort of just say, okay, well, for a first approximation, if the model matrix is just like a rotation and a uniform scale, then they're the same thing, and you can just use M. So F3DEX3, at least in that case, doesn't have to worry about M inverse transpose. It takes the model space normals and multiplies them by M, and you get world space normals. I should go back to text here. World normals. Right? Then, if you're doing lighting, it just does the dot product between the world space normals and the world space light directions, which is very cheap. And that tells you how much the lighting needs to affect that vertex. And then you multiply by the color or whatever and store that as the vertex color. And then also it will take the world space vertex position and multiply it by VP to get the clip space vertex position, which is what you need to draw it on the screen. And if we're doing point lighting, which part of F3DX3 was changing this architecture so that it would make point lighting faster, specifically the performance penalty for each additional point light. Like if you had 5 point lights and then you moved up to 6 point lights, that extra time is lower in F3DX3 than in the F3DX2 implementation of point lighting. And the difference with point lights is that let me switch colors here to some other, just so that it's clear that I'm making a drawing here. So we have our 3D model here. You have a vertex on the model, you have a normal sticking up from it, and then you have a light source off somewhere, right? What it's doing is it's making this vector from the vertex to the light source, and it's both measuring the length of this vector and making the light dimmer and dimmer as the light source gets farther and farther away, and also comparing this direction to the direction of the normal. And so this position here is the light position in world space. The light doesn't have a direction anymore, it's just the position. The direction comes from subtracting the two, the light position from the vertex position. So for point lighting, then, if I go back to my text here, so we also have light positions.
1 second, someone's
space.
asking if we're watching a tutorial. No, this is someone I'm live in a call with. He's explaining the new microcode he's made right now, and basically we want to make sure this microcode actually works here and makes the game run faster. We're expecting this to be a huge improvement.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm not a video. Hi everyone. Maybe I should have spent some time on overlays on my end to put my name and my, whatever. Anyway, so you have light positions in world space, and in F3DEX3, because we've already transformed the vertex position from model space into world space, we can just directly compare the world space vertex position and the world space light position and get this vector. And then we have the world space normals. And so once you have this vector, you can just directly compare it. And so it's very straightforward, except for this MIT business. But leaving that aside, it's very straightforward. The thing is that this is 2 matrix multiplies for each vertex. There's the transformation into world space and then the transformation into clip space, or rather multiplying by M and then multiplying by VP. And you have to transform the normal by M. You already have M in registers, so there's no extra load for matrix, but you still have to multiply the normals. So this is 3 matrix multiplies for each vertex in like the vertex processing. And once the normals are transformed, then they also have to be normalized. And this is because the M matrix could be sort of any size in terms of any scale factor. And so if you just if it just happens to be really small, then it'll make the normal really small, and it'll make the lighting really dim. And we don't want that. Excuse me. So it has to be normalized after that. And this is also because in F3DX3, you have the option of having your normals encoded as packed normals, which is this new type of, it's called octahedral encoding. And with those, the normal will come out of the algorithm with sort of an arbitrary length. It's not just always a constant length, regardless of the direction. The length sort of changes as you change the direction. So there's 3 matrix multiplies and this normalization step, and then there's sort of a straightforward lighting calculation. If we now put this aside and talk about how F3DX2 does it, it's less it's less understandable immediately, but it ends up being faster if all you're doing is just really basic directional lighting. So this side is the same. Let's see, what do we got on this side?
I think that's a little overkill. I feel like the people here are not really there for the tech lesson as much as we just making this thing.
Okay, well,
Unless
Okay,
it's really short.
I'll skip it to be a 1-minute thing then.
All right.
In F3DX2, it pre-transforms the normals for the light directions by M transpose into model space. So it's basically transforming all of the lights back into the space of whatever bone you're on every time you switch bones. And then you don't have to transform the normal for each vertex.
Oh.
And it only transforms directly from model space to clip space. So it's one matrix multiply and no normalizations in the RSP for each vertex if you're not doing point lights. If you're doing point lights, then you add like one more extra matrix multiply compared to F3DX3, and there's like extra stuff. But if you're not using point lights, and that was one question I was going to ask, is are you ever planning to use point lights in RTYI?
No, absolutely not, because I want to make sure it runs fine on emulators. So I stick to just my F3DX2 things.
Well, so F3DEX,
right, we have point lights too.
F3DEX Majora's Mask had point lights.
Right, but everything here is vertex colored, so it wouldn't really fit. Like it would.
So are you not using lighting?
I use world lighting, but it's only for moving actors. And my entire world is vertex colored. I have a few places where I use point lights, but I just fake them via vertex colors. So I just run them on a CPU.
Oh. Okay, so you're using one light source for actors, and then all of your scenes are vertex colored, and the one light source is just always at a constant angle, or is it like based on the sun position or whatever?
Yeah, so right here, if you see this level, I have my sun position up there. So that's where my light source is. But some levels have up to like 7 light sources active at the same time, because there's like stuff in the environment, and I make it a directional light that I compute at runtime.
Okay, so you're using up to 7 directional lights, and then your levels are not using lighting at all.
Exactly.
Okay, so yeah, good to know. So yeah, so basically the old F3DX3 version that you were using as the baseline already has this system, but it doesn't have some things like the occlusion plane, which it's doing the computation for the occlusion plane for every vertex, even though you're not using the occlusion plane.
Wait, so if it has the new system, I just compared it to F3DX2, it was 200 microseconds faster than F3DX2 on the GFX.
Sorry, are you talking about RDP?
No, the GFX task was 200 microseconds faster on F3DX3, the really old one.
Then F3DX2?
Yeah.
I thought, okay, you were just saying a minute ago that you couldn't check F3DEX2 anymore.
No, I just did. I managed to do it.
Oh, you just did?
Yeah.
Okay, can I see the timing for that?
Sure, I had it on screen for like a few minutes just now. You can put it back on.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. So right here, this is average over 200 frames, so it's gonna take a bit to build up. Wait, something's wrong with the camera. Wait. I think something zoomed the camera in. Let me just zoom it out again. I don't know why the camera is so zoomed in. This is weird. There must be some kind of bug. Let me just restart the game. There we go. Do you see it?
Okay, yes, I see it now.
Yeah, it's
22-ish.
Yeah.
And this is EX2.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't have any idea how my F3DX3 from like a year ago is faster than EX2 in RSP time, because it should be slower.
It is very weird.
But okay, then that just means we have more performance investigation. Oh well, but okay. So one sort of nice thing, but also an issue here is that like if I add a ton of extra performance counters to EX3, you get those performance measurements in EX3, but you don't get the same performance measurements in EX2 in order to compare. So, for
Yeah.
example, this might be waiting for the RDP a whole lot, and that's why the time is high. So, like you may remember in my video about the performance, I had times where like the RDP was 45 milliseconds and the RSP was 42 milliseconds.
Yeah,
The
that's
RSP was
likely what's
42
happening.
milliseconds because it was waiting for 15 milliseconds for the RDP. But you can't measure that other than with F3DX3, so we can't really compare that in the old version. But there's still a couple of experiments that I think we can do if we go back to the modern F3DX3. But before we do that, can you take the screenshot of this as well?
Sure.
So I'm guessing that this is kind of a similar time in terms of actual RSP work, but just happens to be that, you know, EX3 is doing, or the old EX3 is doing a little bit more work, and so it just sort of shuffles around the distribution of when it's waiting for the RDP and when it's not, and then it ends up finishing a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Because it was like waiting for less time. That's my guess. And then with the newer EX3, just because like it has actually gotten to be more work, then it's finally caught up and is finally slower. But we'll see.
It is a 20% higher time, so that's a little crazy.
Right,
There has to be like a really big thing somewhere.
Well, but so this is the thing, is that I just went through all of this discussion of like what takes time on in the vertex processing. The vertex processing takes like way longer in EX3 than EX2 in RSP time. Not memory traffic, it's like the same amount of memory traffic and everything, but it's taking way longer. So having some large extra time is not by itself like a surprise, but having the extra time show up in the just going from old EX3 to new EX3 is a surprise. So I'm imagining that what it must be is like actually EX2 is taking, you know, 12 milliseconds, and old EX3 is taking like 18 milliseconds. And then both of them are waiting for the RDP, and so it looks like they're both 21. And then new EX3 is slightly above that, and then it actually like pushes everything.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right. It's probably all like the FIFA waiting thing here.
Yeah. So can you switch back to the new EX3, and I will give you some. At first, it'll be just like a simple, oh, can you comment out this line in the microcode and rebuild it? But eventually, it may become a larger thing, and I'll have to like make changes and then send you the file. Does that work for you?
Yes. Let me just. I don't work with this a lot. I just need to figure out how to just get it back right now. Can I just?
While we're doing that, let me put my name in my overlay here so that people know who I am. I have I am not a streamer. Someone asked, do I stream? No, I don't. This is sort of my second time on a stream ever. So, yeah. So that's why I'm a little behind on the being prepared to be a streamer business.
Dude, how is it not letting me stage this? I'm just gonna use GitHub Desktop. Fuck this. Do you know how to just remove this? It just won't let me
which?
the stash here, not the stash. The half applied thing. It's not letting me apply FADX again.
I use Git at work all the time, and I have to admit that when it gets more complicated than like the normal regular stuff, I end up Googling a lot.
I see, fair. Git merge abort, maybe. The language server crashed, restarting, beautiful. Oh, there we go. They look like the same thing. Alright, I think FADX3 is good to go again.
Okay.
Guys, I just used Project 64 1.6. You shouldn't use it if you're gonna play someone else's ROMhack, because they can just put malware in there, but I have no reason to use Parallel, because I'm not gonna play anyone's sec.
That's a little bit much there.
Oh, what are you testing? Oh, your name.
Oh, is it not visible? Yeah. It's probably fine, and then I do... that's on top. Yeah, that's good enough. Right. I'll improve this later, but hopefully that'll help.
Hello, Fierce Lady Lara.
Hey.
Yeah, we're back to X3.
Okay. So this is
27.
How does this happen? It's 1.5 milliseconds worse with no changes to the microcode or the game.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, let's play with the microcode and see what happens. So, can you open the microcode source f3dx3.s in your text editor or VS Code or whatever?
Sure. I did set up compiling this before, so this should be pretty doable. There we go. Yes, I trust the author. First time opening this. There we go. I'm all ready.
Okay, and so yeah, open up the source file, the .s file. And can you go to line 1334? Not quite 1337.
1131?
1134.
1134?
That is not the same as what it looks like on my end. Can you do a git pull?
Git pull, gotcha. already up to
Clip draw
date.
tries is there. You are pretty out of date on that.
Could that be the reason? Do I have the wrong repo or something?
What is
Hacker
your
N64 slash
upstream?
FreeDX3.
Can you do? Yeah, that's the right thing.
Why am I out of date?
Well, I mean, that's not what it looks like on my end. Screen share with webcam. Line 1334 on my end is... yeah, you're on the main branch, right?
Yeah, I mean, it says right this. That looks like the main branch to me.
Well, it doesn't actually say what branch you're on. Can you do git status? Okay, well, I'm on... can you do git remote -v? Just to make sure orange is
Dash
the
what?
right thing. -v. For verbose. Yeah, that's the right thing. Well...
What the hell?
I don't know why it's not the same thing. I am on there, and it's...
Is it maybe
here,
just
okay,
the way my text editor displays it? Is there maybe like unnecessary lines somewhere? Does it say what?
Maybe, but like the line number of a file should be like pretty important. Okay, can you go down to the end of the file? How many lines are in the file on your end?
And 2719.
No, me too.
What?
Okay, that's good. But then go back to 1334.
Oh, 1334. I had 1134.
Oh, okay, that explains it.
Yeah.
Yes, 1334, almost 1337. Can you comment out the branch if not equal to 0 lighting entry point? Just
okay.
line 1334, just comment it out. And rebuild and put that in the game. So this is going to cut the entire lighting computation. For anything that's vertex colored, you will get your vertex colored, and for anything that is supposed to have lighting, you will get the vertex. The normals will become the vertex colors.
All right. Shit. Where was this again? Wasn't it lib pr? Here we go. Mod ucode. I wish I had a better way this is set up so that when I build it, it like goes in right away. That would be very nice.
Yeah, so I just have a script on my end. I mean, I'm on Linux, but I have a script which runs the make file, copies the microcode binaries over, touches the right thing in the make system for the hacker OOT project so that it will rebuild that file, and then uploads it over USB to the Summercart 64, and then I just have to reset the console, and yeah.
Yeah, that sounds a lot more than what I'm doing. All right.
So I'm also changing this all the time, and hopefully you won't be.
I'm just gonna keep the folders open so we don't have to go through that again. Uploading. So this is just taking out point lights right now?
This is taking out all of lighting.
Okay, I see. I see how it is.
But if the theory is that the vertex processing is just too slow, then this will make the vertex processing go substantially faster. You'll see the performance or not.
Yep, that checks out. Yeah, that definitely looks like we have no lighting.
Yep.
Oh, that's substantially higher. I already saved 2 milliseconds.
Okay, then that doesn't explain it, because this should have taken out. Well, I can compute. Hold on, I wrote some numbers out here. 1 second. All right, so if we get rid of that, that should take out. Get my calculator here. We have 54 plus 19. 3.
Right, Shadowboy, it is still 4 frames short, but what you have to look at is, first of all, tag M and comment here. The tag M is 1.2 milliseconds less, and the comment is 1 millisecond less. So those are going to be the real big players. Plus we get occlusion planes, so that's going to be even more. Like, imagine an occlusion plane right here that hides all the floor down here and doesn't even consider the triangles. So that would be huge.
So that should have saved 3.8 milliseconds.
Oh.
Getting rid of the lighting. And it actually saved 2-ish. But the baseline, the 27, was worse than it was a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, something's up. I see that the FIFO number is also going a little bit bonkers. It's up to 2 sometimes. It's up to 1, I guess. 1.5 sometimes. I guess that's not a huge portion of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you compute the 3.8? What values did you use for that computation?
So a good question. So what I did is, it's with the RSP assembly, you can sort of first approximate it that it will issue a scalar and vector instruction in every cycle. That's not completely true, because when instructions have dependencies, it will stall for those. So this isn't like a completely like foolproof method. But basically I counted the instructions for different sections of the code, and then I'm multiplying by your 6,600 vertices, and just saying, okay, well,
but
it took this many instructions.
Most of these never even use lighting.
Well, oh.
Yeah.
Well, that explains it.
Yeah,
right,
that's what I thought.
Okay. Well,
so the amount of vertices that don't use lighting, we can approach it like by looking like this and subtracting Mario's vertices. Actually like this. So 4,300 of them probably do not use lighting, and it's likely even more than that. So maybe like 2,300 of them use lighting actually.
Okay, but then that also means that the penalty from going from EX2 to EX3 for all of the non-lighting vertices should never have been that high to start with.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so I can... What I can do now is... this will be easier for me to do on my end, and just send you the file. But I can cut out the vertex processing for the occlusion plane, and see how much extra, because that's for all vertices, and that would see how much extra time that gets us.
Okay.
I'm not super hopeful, and I have lots of more ideas. So, but that will help because lighting is not the primary thing here in any case. Yeah. So let me put on my screen share again here, and I'm going to try to do some hopefully correct coding, and we will find out. So, all right. So vertex store. The end of this is the occlusion, the end of the occlusion plane stuff. So this is all, this can all go. We need a JRRA at the end here. Vertex clip, I need to store these. I don't need these. I don't need these. This vertex clip can go here. this is a comparison for. This is any of that. I need to see skip fog. This is occlusion plane. This is occlusion plane. Move that up here. Clamp Z to 0, clamp fog to 0. Let's see. This can go. So like the occlusion plane isn't that much extra time simply because it's like interleaved with all the other parts of the vertex processing. So like there's a lot of things that there are dependencies, and so you can add an extra instruction in between and it doesn't actually take any more cycles. But I'm just gonna try it anyway just to see if this will help. Okay, so this is V26, right? V26. This one.
Well, say for X, the reason we have a different result, what we believe right now, is that in my game the memory transfer speed is just optimized so much already that the RDP is less of a bottleneck, and that's why it's more evident in like other people's hacks than in mine. And that's why it's worse here.
Well, yeah, but now the results are just looking like there's something like just weird happening, because
yeah,
it went from 25 to 20 or 25.5 to 27 with supposedly no changes to anything, and like then when we get rid of lighting, it like only went down a little bit, and like there's just a lot that's like this isn't making sense as like
yeah,
coming from where it was before. Actually, I think this is going to be, because I didn't look at this in advance of like exactly how little, like if I pull out all the instructions for the occlusion plane, it's actually just going to like, it's going to take a bunch of time for me to do it now. Well, maybe in like another 10 minutes or something, but then you only save like a handful of cycles because, well, okay, I guess I'm already halfway through. Let's see, we have occlusion results here. That's that. This is V26. There, that's there. Offset from temporary. What the hell did I do with this? Put this in here. Right. That this is for
Hello, that is Sauron. He is the developer of F3DX3, which is a new microcode that hopefully increases performance, and it brings cool stuff like cell shading and ambient occlusion and more stuff. So we are right now figuring out why F3DX3 on my game only doesn't seem to increase performance. And that's why we're looking at assembly, because the assembly is the code he wrote.
Microcode is written in assembly. And then we have a screen, but I did another one. Oh no, I didn't. this is what I was looking for.
Yes, Sauron also made SAC64. A tool we still use a lot.
I generally pronounce it as Seek 64 because the way you're pronouncing it sounds like something else.
Oh. Seek, because of sequence, yes, that makes sense.
Don't want to get a Twitch community guidelines strike.
Dude, I'm risking a guideline strike every time I talk about fog in my levels.
And that's results, occlusion results, and this is 11.
Yes, he also made the Breath of the Wild Ocarina of Time tech demo.
That's probably it. Let me see if this actually works on my end, just to before I waste your time with sending it to you.
All right.
So,
It'd be very sad if it was the clipping plane, though. But I feel like that wouldn't even really make sense.
But that shouldn't be that. Like, this is, we're talking about like another 20, maybe, no, not even that, like 15, because it's for vertex pairs, so it's like an extra like 20 or 30 instructions. What happened here?
Something broke.
Something broke. 1 second. I think I got something. This is video input. There we go. Just have to run a little command line to get my camera working again. Let's see whatever. No, I think I broke vertex processing.
Shit.
Yeah, this is what happens when you try to just load something on stream, make something new on stream without yeah. It's welcome to Ocarina of Time. All right, let me
The performance looks pretty good, though.
Well, yeah, but the performance is not drawing the right triangles. So that doesn't.
Yes, I know.
That doesn't mean anything. Let me try again. This and back here, and then we're here. All right. That's let's try again. Hopefully not mess it up this time. We are here. Okay. So do a little bit more incremental here. This is oh, I think that may have been right, and I just forgot to change for it to, let's see. No, that shouldn't have been setting. I actually don't remember. All right, let me try again, and if it breaks again, I think I may know what I did wrong.
Sounds good.
17. This, and that was 11. Here. This.
Yes, tea time. I got the right coin area done off stream. I can show that real quick while Soren is busy.
Sure.
Oh, well, we're gonna have a little bit of a lighting issue. You guys are just gonna have to live with that. Is every game developer just fixing broken code ASMR like this? Depends on how difficult what you're doing is. So this is the red coin area I did off stream. Unfortunately, you do not see it with the lighting, otherwise you would see the environment being lit up around the fire here, which would look very nice.
The fire looks very nice as it is, though.
Oh yeah, I like it a lot. It uses a sheer matrix.
On the fire?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's such a cheap visual, but it looks good.
Oh, yeah. It was very convincing from, like, far away. It just looked perfect.
Yeah. Oh, that was a bug. Is there a light in the fire? Yes, there is. Yeah, the vertex colors are baked into the level, but there's also real directional light coming from the fire when you're near it. It's a donation. Thank you for the donation, One Up Shy Guy. I am going to skip Crazy Bus. It's not Crazy Bus.
No see. Hope you've been well. Also from Remix. Thanks for being cool.
Thank you for the donation. Sorry, I mistook you for the Crazy Bus guy. That was not you. Can you have some Turkish style fog so the player can't see the entire scene? I could add fog to this, but I don't know if that would look better. Maybe some dark fog, but that kind of ruins the lighting effect, you know?
Alright, so I think the problem is just that I'm treating everything as, or a lot of it as, being occluded. Like, I changed computing the occlusion plane, but I didn't change the part where it draws triangles and it checks. Yeah, here it is. No, not that one. It's... Where is it? clip occluded. Here we are. This is 9. Get rid of that. This. Hopefully that does it.
Dark fog at the bottom only. Well, there's fog here, kind of. It's just a fade out. You can't just really scale fog with a value like that. It's just not supported. The fog is either applied to like the whole triangle or not at all. Is Boshi in the game already? That's a great question. Because we are absolutely planning to put a Boshi here. You're gonna have a gun
nope.
shot on. Ah, dang.
Sorry. Still broken. I guess I shouldn't try to do that much of a change on stream without any testing. So let me try something else. So this is a different thought I had about a way to debug this. Under the assumption that the problem here is that EX3 is just like so ridiculously much slower at vertex processing, we can change the performance counters, because there's the way the performance counters work is there's I've like reorganized the microcode so I'm not using all of the registers, and so I just have like extra regular registers, scalar registers lying around that I can put whatever I want in them and like just leave it in during the entire processing. And so that would include like the vertex counts and the triangle counts and stuff. So I can like remove those and instead use those vertices, use those registers for counting other things. And so I can count, this wouldn't be like at the same time as the other performance counters, which would replace them, but I can count the actual amount of time it takes on the RSP to do vertex processing, and I can count the actual amount of time it takes to do triangle processing. And then we can see what like percentage of the total is those. And that hopefully will give us some info. So let me try that instead. This is hopefully less chance of screwing up, but we'll...
Oh, it's that easy? I thought it was going to take a long time.
Well, we'll find out.
All right. Sounds good though.
I could use more practice at live coding. Okay, so we have, what I'm gonna do is I have a little bit, let's see, end variable DRAM use. So I have, it looks like in this version, I don't know how recent this is, but it looks like I have 8 bytes of extra DMEM that I can use. So I can make a DMEM variable to hold the initial state of one of these counters. And then I can use the registers to hold the sort of accumulation of them over some time. So that's what I will do. So this is clip, well, I can actually put it anywhere. So let's go here. So this will be start third time 0. And then I'm gonna do perf counter 1. That. That. But copying back is good. That's, we'll change the documentation. That's fine. That's fine. All right. Perf counter 2.
And the reason Mario has no colors right now is that we changed to GBI in F3DX3, so I need to update the way I do lighting before they will work. Unless you're on N64, of course, then the lighting just works. And yeah, this will be the retro pipe for this level here. This is course 12 out of 15, but I might still move it to slot 13 or 11, I'm not sure.
Mario Kart 64 in Mario 64.
Yeah, this is I have like a retro pipe in every level. That's like referencing a retro game that came out before the N64 lifecycle ended, and this one I chose Mario Kart.
Okay, that's pretty cool because it's like Mario Kart had Mario 64 in it.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of the idea. I'm also gonna add the train here.
Nice. Are you gonna have it smack Mario and launch him a large distance.
That would be funny. The trains actually do that in the overworld, so yeah, I actually think I will do something like that.
All right, so for Vertex, this is pretty straightforward because I just have to start here, and the end, this is JRRA, and I have it so that RA is run next deal command. Oh, I need to comment out some code too. Let's do...
Yeah, Holly, that is the idea.
Let's see, make file, I am on. No, I'm not. This is I'm on. Yeah, okay, so I got that already. Then I'm gonna comment out this because you're not using that. Let me just make sure that this works.
I'm just gonna do some 3D modeling while I wait for you.
Yeah, makes sense.
Entertain the people a little bit.
Still works.
Ah, that looks good.
Right, so I gotta change these counters. So Dex handler.
No, we're not fixing the lighting, we're trying to improve the performance right now. The lighting should be trivial to fix. Or at least other people have fixed the lighting before, so it's not going to be too difficult. There is a Mario Kart SNES RetroPipe, but definitely not Diddy Kong Racing. That's not even a Mario game. A few more RetroPipes are planned. I forgot what they are though, but they're good ones. You're just gonna have to trust me. No, I'm not adding a drivable kart. We want the fun to be from Mario's movement and not just random things like that. It kind of feels like, oh, you like Mario 64? Oh, fuck you, here's Mario Kart. I don't want that. Hi Case, why is your keyboard louder than your voice? It is what it is, man. You better enjoy the ASMR.
It might be my keyboard also.
No, it's definitely mine. I can't hear
okay.
yours. So is there a finish line or are there going to be star bits? It will be a race to the finish type thing. I'm thinking you have 40 seconds of time to do this, or maybe 45. Yes, Calamari Desert is the retro pipe. Arthur had the funny idea of making Mario 64 a retro pipe, and I'm kinda down for it.
Just put in Bob on Battlefield and make it drop the frame rate. So it's like this is your retro experience. Yeah, you know you're having a good day when you gotta start going through the assembler source code. I don't know. There's a bunch of there's registers that the RSP can access from the RDP, and like start and end of the command buffer and stuff like that. And one of them is the clock counter. And these aren't in a header. They're like defined in the assembler as like predefined register names. And I don't know what the name for that is because I haven't used that from the RSP yet. So I have to go through the compilers or the RMIPS source code to find this. But that should be pretty easy. Okay, I say it should be pretty easy, and then I immediately fail. So,
because it works for me well, and as long as I don't play anyone else's ROM hack, I can't get hacked. If you use Project 64, I might hack you. If there's too much in your bank account, you should just be scared. Yeah, I'm just gonna hack myself on accident with Project 64. So next we gotta add the start line here to this level. See, I actually had the idea to just put a crypto miner in all the idle cycles I got on my CPU, because it's like 75% idle. Now I have actually a reason to. Oh, interesting. The original Calamari Desert doesn't even have these as like a going down thing. Do you already have a song for Calamari Desert? If not, I'd love to cook something up for you. Maybe some calamari. If you want to make a good port of this in the Mario 64 sound font, that'd be very cool. I definitely will need that. Hello, Luke Job. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Finally played Peach's Fury. Did you like it at least? Do I use the vanilla sound font? I use huge parts of the vanilla sound font, and if there's something in the vanilla sound font you want to use for the Calamari Desert song, then we can definitely use that. Yes, the Bozo Magician is still going to be a thing. I just haven't done it yet, because I still need all the animations. Someone offered to do the animations in 2021, and they kept saying, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. And then they didn't do it. And that's why you don't do call-ups. I think this looks good for the starting line. You didn't give it a 10 because you're saving the 10 for RTYI? Damn. But it sounds like you liked it. But are you going to go back to every other hack you played and be like, yeah, actually, I have to normalize my ratings and just put them down 2 points? Isn't the case logic that you're never allowed to rate anything a 10 because nothing can be perfect? No, I think you should rate it on like a normal distribution. So you should give almost every hack a rating between 4 and 6. Actually 5.5 is the medium then, so between 5 and 6. I think this is all we need for the starting line. The hell? Do we also use this for the finish line? We do. So when raise anything at 6, they think it's a 5 because they're too kind to rate it. True. True. Whatever you say, dude. And what's with the Boshi? There's gonna be a Boshi that you have a shootout with. You know, that's like a whole cowboy level. So you will be doing cowboy shenanigans with the Boshi. Don't you know why around 7 is that there's so much shitty things you can do? True, but if you do that, then you lose voting power. Because if 7 is your average and you vote something at 10, you're just moving it 3 points above the average, right? And someone who actually votes around 5 can move it 5 points above. Your lowest rated egg on .com is good as easy. Yeah, it is. It's an experience. Very understandable if you hate it. It is not a good experience. Where's Mario's future color? It's a bug with the GBI right now that I need to fix. It's because we're in the process of switching to a new microcode, and it changes a few of the comments we need to use. But first we need to figure out why the microcode does not perform better on my end, and then we can make the final switch. Oh, that render distance hurts, and it's also way too big. Does your problem maybe just get inaccurate with FDX somehow, rather than problems being actually shittier? No. I think we're just gonna take this train and then attach like 3 wagons on here, and then have it go in circles forever and forever. The question is, okay, the thing is, this is gonna be like a 40-second race or 45-second race, and there's a shortcut you can take here through the tunnel right now, which I think is kind of cool. But it's also, the platform here is not that exciting, but it's really cool that you go through the tunnel. Do we make the train come out of the tunnel this way, maybe, to prevent that? Or to have people wait at least like a second? So it's like a hidden shortcut, because you actually have to wait a second to go there? Or do you have to go after the train? Ah shit, maybe I should have compiled F3DX with O2. Surely that would have made a difference. Thank you for the great recommendations.
The train has that 64 on the front of it. I feel like you could change that to something else.
Huh, yeah. I can kind of see the vision.
Maybe your own logo.
But it kind of has to have the same Calamari Desert vibe, right? Because it's the retro stage. If it's different, it's gonna be kind of eh.
Does RTYI have a like an antagonist who would have a logo or something like that?
The antagonist is just Bowser, who has a logo.
Well, yeah, I guess we gotta leave it then. Let's see this.
When the train move? Of course, of course.
Okay.
We got counters?
Yes, the display of them is broken, but I can fix that on my N64 side. So yeah, this is like the counter that was previously like vertices, and one of the tri counters is now amount of time for vertex processing, and the other counter is now amount of time for triangle processing.
All right.
But
that was fast.
Let me fix it on my end, and well, it's not completely done yet.
Oh.
Let me fix it on my end and make sure that I am not sending you garbage. So this is...
Yeah, I'll add smoke coming out of the train, don't worry. That is a must-have. Particles are super cheap in this game because they're all just batch rendered. Can you improve my FPS? Unfortunately, the human eye can only perceive 24 frames a second. That's an unchanging fact. You're stuck with that. I think you've rotted my brain. Anytime I play anything now, I make places, jokes, and talk in German accents about how I improved the FPS. What the fuck? Is that a real thing you do? That's fucked up.
I think they're probably trolling.
I can kind of see the placeness talk though. You can see how people would latch onto that and really like to use that as a metric in the games they play. Shit, Arthur found out my trick. If we can only see 24 FPS, how does 30 and 60 look different? Placebo. A question for you. Would you like to... I would like to make a fan game with the vibe and server N64 like Mario 64. Do you have any tips for me, hopefully? I guess try to recreate the texture filtering, the blurry stuff. I feel like that's what people most remember about N64. And the low resolution textures. Sticking to 64 by 64 should work. Isn't there usually a big Mario Kart logo above the... Yeah, there is. Wait, that's not there on the first lap. I never noticed that. Look, it's there now. I'm blind, never mind.
I suspect that's an actor.
No, the camera just zoomed in.
Oh, okay.
That would make sense as an actor though.
Well, that doesn't look right. Something doesn't look right here.
Oh no.
Let's see what happens when I get in game.
Well.
Wonderful. What did I do here? think I'm putting some garbage in them.
Nintendo lo-fi music, I can do that. I can put some lo-fi music on. Now the stream is a little less awkward. It's actually 40.
Kind of reasonable. But let me do some math on my...
Alright. Okay, chat, the thing is, okay, 1D is just a point, right? It's just a line. 2D is like a line in height. 3D is like when you play a video game and it's depth. But 4D, it's not smell. It's when the chair moves as well.
5D is when they squirt you with water also.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah, that's right. What is going on? That should be fine.
I am trying to figure out what this texture is.
Let's do a...
What are you doing with the markout level? It's a retro stage in this game. Look at this, it's just a plane.
That's what I do. Oh, that's what I do. Wait, what did I... Oh. Idiot. Okay, that's what I did. Coding too fast. For my own good.
Shit, where is this video? I need the Mario Kart video back. There we go. Okay, I see what this is. I think I have to make a new material here. This texture is not working for me.
Okay, that is what I was hoping to see. I
Oh.
think this is probably right.
Very
Can
nice.
you
What's
see
the
this on
counter
my
now?
screen?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, so what this means is that, like, right now, I have an arrow here, don't I? Somewhere here. An arrow. Right? Okay, here's an arrow. Why is it not letting me select it? Alright, so this is the RSP task time just from start to end without subtracting things. This is the RSP task with only the times that the microcode is actually, the F3DX3 is actually running on the RSP, right?
Okay.
This is the amount of time it was waiting for the FIFO, so this is the amount of useful work the microcode is doing.
I see.
This is the amount of time the microcode was processing vertex commands. This is the amount of time it was processing triangle commands.
Okay.
So these are like 5 to 6 each, which makes like 12. And then we have 15 or 16 is the total. So the other 4 milliseconds were either just processing tiny commands, which are just shuttling them over to the RDP, or matrix loads, or just anything else other than vertices or triangles.
That seems pretty reasonable to me.
These will count. This is just like from starting the vertex time to finish, starting the vertex whole process to finishing it. And that includes the waiting for the vertices to be loaded. And the triangles time also includes waiting for flushing those triangle commands out to the RDP, because that's within, this is just it stops timing just before it runs the next instruction. So this actually includes some of this time.
Okay.
Which is the waiting for buffer. So I'm going to send you this source, and you build it, and then we will see whether the vertex time is ridiculous, and whether this is, if you add them up, it is way less than the total that you're seeing. Does that make sense?
Yep, that sounds good.
Okay, and let me go back here. Camera, and then I will send you the F3DEX3.s, and you can just overwrite yours. And actually, excuse me for a second, I gotta use the restroom.
Okay. Alright, let's test this new microcode. I can't just make everything bigger. The problem is, if I touch my OBS, it might crash. My OBS is extremely unstable. So if I touched it right now, the stream might just go offline. We're both evil? Damn. Please reset your damn computer, it's so cursed. I don't want to lose everything. No, I do not want to make my own emulator. I just want to make my N64 game. Ideally, I wouldn't have to deal with emulators at all. Is case implementing F3DX3? I already have F3DX3 on. That's why when I'm in game, you see that Mario has no colors right now. It's because of the new GBI. The problem is, F3DX3 on my game runs significantly slower. So we need to fix that. Case, when are you solving world hunger and curing cancer? Case. Case, why didn't you do it already? That's fucked up, don't you think? I should not have walked forward.
I'm back. So I forgot to give you something.
Oh.
So you also need the new yield data footer. So I just sent you on Discord. This is like I replaced what was previously those 4 counters of like vertices, triangles in, triangles out, and rectangles is now 2 U32s, which is the number of cycles for vertex processing. And so yeah, you gotta.
So I gotta update the counters as well.
Yes. So you want to, and those are RDP or RCP cycles. So whatever you're using to do like divided by, I guess it would be 62 or 62 or 63 or whatever in order to, yeah. And then when you have your volatile U16, yeah, the lines like 242 to 248 or whatever, or like 243 to 250 on your screen.
Yeah.
Those, yeah, those need to change to 2 U32s. Like delete all of those and make it 2 different U32s instead. And that would be like the vertex draw time, vertex processing time, and triangle processing.
Right. So these are all dead.
Yeah. Well, two of them are now dead. And
okay. Wait, try draw. No, this is still.
And then you need to draw 2 of the.
Which one's still valid? This one here and this one?
Well, so none of them are valid anymore, but now there are 2 U32s that are number of cycles for.
Right. But I'm just gonna reuse the variable name because CBA.
Well, you can do that then.
Yeah. So these 2 are still the good ones. Nope, that was not it. Try door count, vertex count. Okay, I see.
And these aren't counts anymore. They are number of cycles. You got to.
Yeah, I know.
Divide by.
Try proc cycles. Am I even using? Am I dividing by the wrong number? Did I divide by the wrong number before? Maybe. Because I used 46.
Cycles per CPU. It's cycles per RDP is what, or RCP is what you want.
So the numbers might have been higher than they really should be.
Well, so like graphics task. No, but this is the first time I'm giving you an F3DEX3 performance counter that is a. Well, no, the number of. Okay, wait a minute. So graph or whatever is just a CPU timer. So that's just cycles per CPU, right?
Oh, okay, no, right, all fine.
In EX3, the only timer that was actually cycles before was the one for how long it was waiting for the RSP buffer. So that's the RDP wait cycles.
Right, so
wherever
that
you're
one,
that,
that's this one here, which is by 46.875. But it is CPU, right? So it should be fine.
So the CPU timers are fine. For the new ones, you need to divide by 62.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing here.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the only other one that you need to check is the one for RDP wait cycles for the buffer being full. How were you drawing that before?
Wait 1 second, let me just fix this real quick. Still drawing this somewhere. Oh. Don't need that anymore. Okay, now it compiles. What are you saying I should also change?
What was called RDP wait cycles. That's another counter from the microcode, which is in RDP cycles, not CPU cycles. How long the microcode is stalled waiting for.
Oh, so this one here.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's yeah. Though it means if you're dividing by 40 instead of by 60, it's even less than it was.
Yeah. Well, we already identified it as a non-issue beforehand, so shouldn't really matter. The right of the marker signs check about it should be. Ah, I see. Okay, Josh. I can look into that. Came back after now and they still haven't fixed the volume differences. Maybe you need to turn yourself up a little bit. Someone complained about the volume a little bit again.
Where are you physically, Kaza?
In front of my computer? Oh, Nova Scotia.
Oh, okay. That explains it, because that's the only place that's... I'm on the West Coast, like near San Francisco, and it's the only place that's 4 hours behind.
Yeah, I'm all the way at the east of North America. Oh, what the hell? This does not look right.
That does not look right to me. Well, I think it's working on my end. Why don't you print them out just as integers? Like, don't do any conversion, just print out the integer value of each one. Because then you can just do the math later.
Like, so that's what you're thinking. Well, my thing only supports
without even
digits.
the F32. Just do a... Without the F32, just make it directly. So it sounds like something else is going on. Did you write to them? You copied the right things to them?
I think so.
Those two. Let's just look at them again. Yeah, I think so. And you like rebuilt everything that depends on that header, hopefully?
Yeah, it rebuilds everything automatically when I just hit make.
Okay. Yeah, well, it looked reasonable on my end. Is that, just to confirm, you put in the new microcode correctly and like updated everything on that end?
Yeah, I think so. Let me just try that again. Maybe I messed this up somehow.
Haha Holly in the chat says, Soren, have you ever considered making F3D-EX4? I think increasing the number by 1 might fix this performance issue. So it's funny you mentioned that. Now I'm not convinced that the performance issue is what I thought it was, but as of like last night when I thought, oh, it's just I've made the vertex processing way too slow, I need to make F3D-EX 2.5 for Kaza, which is the F3D-EX3, but with the like lighting and vertex processing backported from F3D-EX2, so it's like a mishmash of them. So yeah, we'll see.
Alright, now I have definitely just now updated these two.
Okay.
What opens.
You should consider the Summer Cart 64. No more moving SD cards and waiting for the copy. It's like 3 seconds to do the USB upload.
That would be very nice. That would save me so much time. I wish the EverDrive actually just worked, but it just doesn't on my end.
It has USB upload, but it's super slow. It's slower than actually copying to the SD card.
Oh. Well, the USB upload doesn't even work for me. It works once per time I boot my PC.
Oh.
So it's extra stupid. This looks like the numbers are at least consistent. It's just not printing the right thing because, yeah, my counter doesn't work like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, L and B. Okay. Why don't you... I think maybe it was right before and it was just the microcode wasn't updated. So why don't you switch back revert your code changes?
That sounds like a good idea. Surely not converting to an F32 beforehand is not gonna murder me.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It probably will promote it because C does weird things like that.
Yes, it does. I was trying the game running it entirely without doubles, and there's some random double promotions all around that just crashes that. You know, the single precision float mode only.
Are you planning to like actually try to solve that, or is it not worth it?
I'm trying to solve that at some point.
Because it's only extra CPU time, it's not extra memory traffic, so it shouldn't affect the room situation.
Well, some functions become smaller because you have more registers available to you. So that is less memory transfer.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right, I guess. No, but it's they still only use the even registers.
No, they use the unevens too.
Really?
Yeah.
You managed to fix that in the compiler?
I don't know, it just works.
Okay,
I do
those
have a
look like
custom build
normal-
of GCC, so maybe that's why. What the hell? It looked fine in the overworld, but then as soon as I switch levels,
Yeah.
it doesn't anymore.
Okay, so this is... I think I might know what's going on. These counters are now... yeah, because now it's fine again, right?
Yeah.
So right now, it says it's taking 1.2 milliseconds for vertex processing and 1.4 milliseconds for triangle processing, but the graphics task is only taking 1.5 milliseconds total.
It's 4.5.
Oh, sorry, I read graphics that. Yeah, okay, then that's fine. So these are using the RDP clock, the RDP clock counter. So it's just like pulling in the clock counter at the beginning of vertex processing, storing it to DMEM, pulling in the clock counter at the end of processing, subtracting them, and then incrementing our amount of vertex time, right? So if you reset the clock counter in the middle while it's processing, this is going to go to hell.
So what if I try to make the thread timing a little more consistent by limiting the FPS? Huh?
Okay, that's better. Okay, that is what I wanted to see. You have 10 milliseconds for vertices, 8 milliseconds for triangles, and 27 milliseconds total.
Well, the ratio of the numbers is around the same as what you showed in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, so this should be, 9.8 milliseconds plus 8.2 milliseconds is like 18.1 milliseconds, right? Plus
Yeah.
a couple of milliseconds for other like other commands or whatever. But it's actually like another 9 milliseconds. So
Yeah.
something's up. So it's not just that the vertex processing is slower, but like that's not all that's happening here. Something else is taking a ton of time. You're not doing something degenerate like writing like some sort of like prim color between every triangle or something like that.
No.
Okay. Let's see. So, oh yeah. So two more things. So, FIFO counter looks broken currently. But can you build this with when you have your make file? Oh, and by the way, I should let you know I gotta leave in a few minutes, but yeah, I mean we can do this some other time. But yeah, this is very good info because that mysterious now extra, what is this? Extra like 8 or 9 milliseconds.
Yeah, 9 even.
That would just like solve all of your problems, right? Because like look at that command time, 21 milliseconds. That's the actual time the RDP is doing useful work. So the RSP should be around the same number, and it's at 27.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I will think about this over the next week. But one thing, while we're still here for a few minutes, so let's try to unbreak the FIFO counter. But then also, can you open up your make file for F3DEX3?
Sure. I didn't change anything. I just downloaded the repo and then.
Right. So you want to put in the config gclock sample. So this is like near the end. No, sorry. Just go to the end. And you see where, yeah, so you see it says options. So add another line there that is, and my face is over, oh no, yeah. So then CFG, it's the word you want is right in the comment above.
Yeah.
You see it says, yeah, so just put that there and then make the backslash on the line above. This is like continuing a long line, yeah. And just to confirm, because Makefile cares about this, you have 2 spaces at the beginning of that, not a tab.
Just hit enter.
It needs to be 2 spaces, right?
It looks like 2 spaces.
Okay, good. Sounds good. Yeah, and then so you rebuild the microcode and try this again, but also let's plot our the extra 2 counters that this will turn on for you, which is the well, they're already in the yield data footer script.
Right. So let me just undo this stuff here.
Oh, well, we still want those, right?
But they're gone.
Why would they be gone?
Because I just built F3DX.
Well, yeah, but this you didn't change the source file, right?
Should I have pulled first?
No, I'm saying like we leave the source with the counters that we've just spent the last hour on, right? And then we're also turning on this other option, which will give you the other counter that's the one for...
Right, but the version of F3DX3 that I have locally doesn't have these counters you just programmed.
But I sent you the source code, you just built it and you ran it on your...
Right, okay, never mind, I forgot about that part.
Yeah, so changing the make file doesn't get rid of that, right? So, yeah, so the reason I want that is actually not for the embarrassing how much time were you waiting for Rambus, but for the other counter, which is how many display list commands it executed. Because if you're doing some ridiculous, like, tens of thousands of display list commands for some reason, then that could explain some of the extra time, though I kind of doubt it, but
yeah,
I just want to know about that. And then I also, yeah, so another thing is this, the triangle processing time would be counting the time for swapping to the clipping overlay, and the vertex processing time would be counting the time for swapping to the lighting overlay.
Okay.
But neither of them would be counting time for swapping to the overlay for the like miscellaneous stuff, the overlay 4. And again, I don't think that's happening because if you were swapping, like, if you swapped to overlay 4 100 times, you would also have to swap back from overlay 4 to either 2 or 3 100 times. And those would be counted in the vertex time or the triangle time. So I don't think that's the issue either. But anyway, yeah, so you have the commands. Okay, you got those 2. So then, yeah, you just want to plot those.
I need this one, I guess.
Print them as, yeah, those 2. But you already have your global, at least for that one.
Oh, you're right.
Looks like you're missing the second one, the graphics command count.
Oh yeah, I didn't actually plot the GFX command count.
Yeah, okay. That was I was getting confused with the FIFO one. Okay, so yeah, so if you can just plot those as integers, because they should be just like a number of commands in hopefully less than 10,000. And you can just manually look at the ratio between them to see how much you're waiting for.
Right, so we have the GFX command. This is what we want.
Yeah, that's the only one I care about for the moment. But since you're doing it, you might as well plot the gclock alive one also, just to get that info.
Right, and I don't do it. Actually, I do that right here. MEMW is what it's called.
If you're already doing that, then that's great.
Why am I dividing by GFX comment count? Does that make
Well,
sense?
so that's the thing is like, it's the percentage of time that it was
okay,
stalled
okay.
for memory, right?
So I just had to start as memw, and we just never looked at it before.
You can do it whichever way you want to do it.
Right.
But I just,
So
for
put
the
a new
moment, I just wanted to see-
FEDX3 and run it on N64 now. Or is anything else we need?
Yes.
Good.
But yeah, you did build the EX3 and copy the binary since you changed the makefile, right?
And this is, I'm doing the binary right now.
Yeah, you're building the binary. The makefile may not notice that the makefile has changed, so you may need to do make clean and then
Yeah, I can do that.
or just delete the outputs and then yeah.
Okay, I just made.
Haha Holly says, Kaza, you should sell your hack on the streets. Nintendo will never find out.
It's true, they would never know.
It was a bizarre experience when I went to MagFest a couple of years ago. I go every year on staff, and I saw in one of the vendors' booths, they had a bunch of N64 repro carts with ROM hacks on them, and there was one that was the missing link, which I worked on. And I like said to the seller, "Oh, that's my, I'm in that game." And he was like, "Oh yeah, ha ha ha." I was like, "No, I worked on that." And but yeah, weird seeing that for $50. That obviously none of that money is going to Nintendo, but also none of that money is going to Kaza. I mean, it's just somebody is just taking our stuff and selling it. So that's but you gotta have some tolerance for that in order to be in this community. So.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Maybe Rusky's new boot code will prevent some of that. Hopefully. But I also saw online stores that had like 100,000 sales of like people's ROM hacks. They literally made millions off of that. It's just insane.
I don't really.
Yes, but they sold like everything. Yeah.
You think people bought 100,000 people bought a repro cart of a single ROM hack? No,
of all the ones they're selling together.
Oh, like their total sales overall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, my wife wanted to just see what happens if she brings in the missing link as like a cartridge to a game store to like sell it. Okay, let me just limit the FPS again. All right.
Okay, so this is 8,000 commands. That's kind of similar to what I had in OOT. Let me go back there. This one. Let's see. So for a normal place here. So 6,000, 7,000. That's okay. That should not be the issue. Okay. Well, that's good that we ruled out some ridiculous thing there. I need to get going. Sorry?
And the mem time is around 12.8 milliseconds, which is also more than I expected. I thought percentually it was going to be less.
Yeah, so that you're doing that as... can I see the code that you use to compute that? Because it matters which direction you're doing that. Because the G-clock is alive time is the amount of time that RDP is actually... Okay, so... Yeah, so that's the amount of time... What you're plotting is the amount of time that the RDP is doing useful work and not stalling for memory.
Oh, okay.
And command time, which is the top, that's your RSP RDP command time. No, that's not quite fair now. You want to use clock time.
This is the clock time. Oh wait, no, is it not? No, it's command time. Oh, you're right.
So, because like if the RDP is, well, actually I don't know which it would be. If the RDP is just sitting there doing nothing, whether it will show the clock is alive or not, I don't know. So, yeah, if the RDP
so I'm actually multiplying with the 33 here.
One way or the other, it looks like it's about half the time. It's a little more than half the time that is actually doing work, which is great because in OOT it's like a third of, it's like stalled 2/3 of the time and not stalled 1/3 of the time. But in your hack, it's not stalled just a little bit more than half. So you're like substantially more efficient on the RDP, which is what we would like to, what we all thought, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I have some good info here. I'm gonna spend some time maybe over the next week or two and think about some other ways of profiling on the microcode and figure out like what is actually going wrong. And then we can do this again in a couple of weeks and see what happens.
Alright, I'm just gonna stash all these changes somewhere and then hopefully we can just start again where we left off.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thanks for trying to help out and making the microcode.
You're welcome. It's I really hope that I can end up making the Rambo Scove room a little bit more. I think everybody in the community is really pumped about RTYI, and I'm looking forward to playing it myself.
I hope I don't disappoint.
All right. I'm gonna end the Discord call then, and you'll have to figure out what shows up on your screen then after that.
All right. Let me just see ya. Hello, are we back? I told you guys, as soon as I touch OBS, it just fucking dies. Hello, Holly. Unable to stash changes. Fucking awesome. Yo, we got a sub from Xena. What is this? Just make it a new branch. No, I don't want to work with fucking branches. I just want to discard my free files here. Trying to figure out how to... Yes. We want more frames, if we can. More RDP time available to us. Okay, we're back to the old F3DX2. So this is what I was working on off stream this week, basically. This whole section. And, well, I guess I can show you the cave now with the lighting working. This is what it looks like, and then when Mara gets to the flame, this is what I meant by like faking the point lights. We just use a directional light like that. And of course they have a bunch of milk. Because they're real cowboys. OOT does that with Navi? I thought OOT used actual point lights. It's possible with actual glow effects. What is an actual glow effect? All graphics are just about faking it, right? So what's your standard for when something counts as a glow effect? Like how well do you need to fake a glow for it to count? Oh, I didn't know OOT did that. That's interesting. Alright, I think our next task should be, first of all, let's fix this. Someone said this is wrong. Right, I see what she means by that this is wrong. Should be kinda like that, but not quite. I think we might just have to change the texture here. Is universal opinion, is OOT or is M64 uglier? Definitely Mario 64. See if an experience more set with outside is aged better? Huh. I don't know. One time I said on my YouTube video that the N64 has a magically nostalgic aesthetic, and then people said you're coping, you're cringe, you are nostalgia blinded, and then I didn't say that anymore. See, I always try to say something nice about the games in my videos, even if I think the games are garbage, because that gets you more views. But sometimes people are just like, nah. I mean, I can see a little bit of an argument that Ocarina of Time is not as charming, because I guess they tried to be more like, oh, let's just make the graphics look like real life. Of course, it didn't look like real life at all, but you know what I mean. How many pixels are there? 3? 3, and it ends with the white, so let's have there be 3 here as well. This is what he wanted for the big logo, I think. Try and bring pixels on the bottom. Wait. No. Pro really just said no. Yeah. I did. What you gonna do about it? I know it should be 7 parts, but I'm just gonna subdivide this into 8 just to be safe. Karting? Yes, karting. I think we're just gonna go with this here. Somehow this wasn't even, and I didn't realize. Butt joint would be cleaner. What is a butt joint? I honestly, maybe I should just update OBS. Maybe that would just fix everything like instantly. It's not even that unlikely that that would happen. Well, it wasn't possible to have the aggressive anti-aliasing in most ONs. You can even control that. You can control that, and I think the reason it's not turned off is that they wanted it on. Maybe that was like a thing that Nintendo asked of developers as well, I would imagine. It's like a thing that is just globally applied on the console, because they believe it increases pixel, like the way pixels look, which honestly I can kind of see. I mean, even nowadays there are plenty of people that prefer the anti-aliasing being on. Wait, I didn't mean to select that one. I just think the A is too strong, but that might just be the fact that there's like flares of blur and things. Yeah. Dude, all kinds of people are getting mad at me over warning people of the Project 64 hackability. Oh, whoops. It's too high up. And actually, no, it's not far enough down. And it has an issue with the drawing layer being the wrong. This definitely should be a layer 1. And this should just be hard set to 1. And you are fine. I thought of feeding Gemini 1.5 your whole code base. I have not. That could be fun. Will we just have AI optimization at some point? That'd be crazy. Alright, this looks good. Well, with speedrunning, you kind of have to make sure that there's parity between users. So everyone using the same shitty emulator is like the easiest way to make sure everyone is like on the same playing field. Alright. I think this area is basically done. Did I miss anything? You guys seeing anything that I need to improve? We still gotta add the train driving in a circle, and we gotta add the timer, but those are pretty easy things. Yeah, I mean, you kind of want overclocking by default, right? Because it just makes it more playable. Are they going to be obstacles? Oh shit, I gotta add cactuses. Good point. I wanted to add the cactuses from the actual Calamari Desert. Did you put the dry bones in? There's no dry bones here, but I did put the dry bones in the other place, but I didn't animate them yet. Alright, I think I've had a long enough stream though. I gotta check all the fires of people complaining about the video. So I will see you guys next Saturday. Until then, bye bye.